You've probably had this experience before. You open an app for 1 minute, then suddenly, 40 minutes disappear. And the strange part is, you usually don't even remember what you watched. Because modern feeds are not designed to help you find something. They're designed to prevent you from leaving. A few years ago, the internet still had stopping points. You reached the bottom of a page, a video ended, a website paused long enough for your brain to catch up. Now those stopping points are disappearing, and once you understand why, modern apps start feeling much darker. Most people barely notice infinite scroll anymore, which is exactly why it became so powerful. Because infinite scroll didn't improve content, it removed interruption. An interruption was doing something important. It created tiny moments where your brain briefly asked, "Do I still want to be here?" Platforms discovered something uncomfortable. The moment people stop scrolling, they become much more likely to leave. So modern apps started removing those moments. The internet stopped feeling like separate pieces of content. It started feeling like one uninterrupted stream of forward motion. No stopping, no reset, no silence, just drift. The most important button on the internet quietly disappeared. The end. Most people think scrolling addiction is about dopamine, but platforms are optimizing for something even more powerful: forward momentum. Because once motion becomes continuous, interruption starts feeling unnatural. You open TikTok for one video, then somehow end up answering messages you never planned to check, watching clips you never intended to open, forgetting the original reason you picked up your phone at all. This is why people often keep scrolling long after they stop enjoying what they're watching. The feed is no longer trying to satisfy you. It's trying to prevent interruption. And once you notice that, modern apps start feeling strangely similar. Different interfaces, same behavioral logic. Keep the user moving long enough, and eventually they stop deciding consciously. The feed isn't competing against other apps anymore. It's competing against the moment you regain enough awareness to stop. Platforms aren't only competing for attention anymore. They're competing against boredom itself. And boredom used to matter. It created reflection, mental wandering, internal thought. Now boredom is treated like unused inventory. Every quiet moment becomes something the system tries to capture before anything else does. 5 seconds becomes 10 minutes. 10 minutes becomes an hour. Not through force, through behavioral drift. And over time, people start reaching for stimulation automatically, sometimes before they've even realized they were bored. Not because they consciously want something, because silence itself starts feeling uncomfortable. The feed doesn't wait for your attention anymore. It intercepts the absence of it. But eventually, endless content created another problem. Without personalization, infinite feeds become exhausting. So the feed evolved. It became predictive. Older media waited for people to choose. Modern feeds increasingly choose for people. Not perfectly, just effectively enough to maintain momentum. And recommendation systems became extremely good at detecting unconscious behavior. The feed notices things about you before you consciously do. What makes you pause for half a second longer? What makes your thumb slow down? What interrupts your focus without you realizing it? The system studies reactions most people never even realize they're giving away in the first place, which creates an unsettling shift. You stop navigating the feed. The feed starts navigating you. This is why modern feeds can feel strangely intimate, almost like they understand you slightly better than you understand yourself. Because in some ways, they do. Not emotionally, behaviorally. And behavior is often more valuable than self-awareness. Eventually, uninterrupted engagement stopped being a feature. It became the business model. Because the longer people remain inside a platform, the more predictable they become. More behavioral data, more opportunities to monetize attention, more ways to reinforce habit automatically. Which created a powerful incentive: design systems that are difficult to exit, not aggressively, subtly. One more recommendation, one more autoplay, one more refresh, one more glance before putting the phone down. The most successful platforms weren't the ones people enjoyed most. They were the ones people had the hardest time walking away from. And once every major platform discovered that, the internet slowly started behaving the same way. Not because companies copied each other aesthetically, because they were optimizing for the same outcome: unbroken engagement. A completed user session has limits. An endless one doesn't. But the deepest effect may not be behavioral at all. Continuous feeds change cognitive rhythm. Human attention evolved around transitions, focus, pause, reflection. Modern feeds compress those cycles into uninterrupted stimulation. Information arrives faster than interpretation. Emotion arrives faster than reflection. And over time, the brain adapts to constant novelty, which makes slower forms of attention start feeling unusually difficult. Books, long conversations, silence, deep focus. Many people now instinctively reach for stimulation the moment thinking becomes difficult. Even during movies, conversations, sometimes in the middle of other videos. Not because people became less intelligent, because behavioral environments shape mental habits. Modern digital systems increasingly reward rapid attentional switching in ways that make slower forms of thought start feeling unusually difficult. The feed trains responsiveness, not contemplation. And eventually, silence stops feeling neutral. It starts feeling incomplete. That's not an accident, which may be the most powerful effect these systems have had. Not controlling what people think, controlling whether people ever stop consuming long enough to think independently at all. Infinite scroll didn't win because it improved the internet. It won because uninterrupted behavior became incredibly valuable. And once platforms learned how to remove the moments where people reconsider their behavior, everything started evolving in the same direction, toward passive consumption, toward systems that quietly stay in your head all day long. The internet used to wait for people to decide what they wanted. Now it decides what captures your attention before you've had time to think. The feed was never designed to end, only to continue. If you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe.